if people who are considered spiritual, how come they have such a hard time with activism, and isn't trying to change the outside not as important as trying to change the inside? And I picked this one first because this means a lot to me. It really, it's how do we call it, a thorn on in my side. When people say to me, "Oh, you're supposed to be spiritual. You're supposed to be a spiritual teacher. You're supposed to be love and peace and whatnot. Why are you going to protest? Why are you advocating for human rights or whatever issue it is?" And I find it very. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't believe in being an angry activist. I'm not an angry activist. I went through that phase in my earlier youth before my awakening, but I'm not an angry activist anymore, and I haven't been for a long time. But I still feel very passionate about certain issues. One being the planet. I'm sick and tired of billionaires and people who think they can get away with murder, and sometimes they do, just poo-pooing on the planet, destroying the environment, and this is where we have to live. That's my water, that's my air, that's my city, my country, my planet. It's my planet, just like it's your planet. So that's one of the issues that I care about. I care about racial equality, and I don't mean that. And I don't mean like you do in the sense of like the news. They're always trying to do divisive, what do they call it? Race baiting. I'm against race baiting, but I am for the end of bigotry. I'm for all of us seeing ourselves as one human family, seeing that we all have a sob story. We all do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are, how white you are, how black you are, how gay you are, how whatever it is. It doesn't matter. We all have our sob story. People are dealing with stuff every day. Every single person on the planet. And for people to say that, oh, you're just race baiting. No. I'm promoting one human family, the consciousness of one human family. You are not going to get anywhere on your path. This world is not going to evolve. The awakening will mean nothing. And I feel, for me, that's what really upsets me the most, is when I see, let's say, a Facebook group, like light workers. I'm not going to quote a group because there's a lot of them called light workers of the world or light workers of the galaxy or whatever. But a so-called light worker group posting anti-transgender stuff, or posting anti-Arab stuff, or posting anti-Jewish stuff, whatever it is. I'm like, how can you call yourself spiritually awakened and still hate people you don't know? Don't get me wrong. I don't like a lot of people. I agree. I love humanity, and I love my friends. I have a very close knit circle of friends, but I don't necessarily like everybody. I love everyone. I accept everyone, and we don't have to hang out and accept everybody. But there's no place for blatant bigotry, hatred, racism, just hate in general. And I know, and in this climate, everyone thinks it's cool. The alt-right is speaking, free speech, free speech. Everyone has the right to free speech. I agree. But I don't want it around me. Do you want to be around that stuff? I don't want to be around that stuff. So, going back to the question of, do we need to change the outside world as well as the inner world, is a very important topic to me as a sacred activist, because I do see the world as one human family. I see the sacredness of the planet. I see the sacredness of human interaction. I see the sacredness of nature. So I will support these issues. I am going to support humanity. I am going to support human rights, taking care of nature, and peace, world peace. And I know that sounds like a cliche, world peace. It starts with you. That is true. That is true. World peace starts with us. It's not something that I don't believe the UN or the United States or anybody is going to change minds just by writing a treaty. It has to happen from within. And if we want to have a peaceful world, if we want to live as one human family, it starts with evolving the way that we perceive each other. And that is the human family. I hope that's enough about sacred activism. I might go more into that a little bit later. I'm going back and forth because the camera is like right in front of my big old screen right in front of me. So let me see if I can see what Sarah, you posted. My guru told me that activism was an ego problem. Needless to say, I am my own guru now. Very good. Good for you. Seriously. Good for you. And actually, to add to that sacred activism thing, I will say this, is that for me, sacred activism, you know, and I know there's a lot of controversy among some people about Mother Teresa and, you know, what she did with the poor, whether she did something or not, but her quote of, "I will not go to an anti-war rally, invite me to a pro-peace rally and I'll join you," is an excellent way of looking at things. I am not going to go to, this is an issue I had with the whole women's march. Yeah, I went to the women's march here in Roanoke. We had like 3,000 or 4,000 people here. But I had a problem with some of the people because it was anti-Trump, anti-Trump. I went there to be pro-diversity. I went there to be pro-women, pro-women's rights, pro-LGBT rights. As a matter of fact, there was a little segment of us that were there for pro-indigenous rights. So I went there to support indigenous, I went there to support LGBT, and I went there to support women. Did I support the people against Trump? No, I don't. I don't support against anything. Do I like him? No, I don't like him. I don't like the way he perpetuates hatred and bigotry and racism. But I'm not anti-anybody. I'm not anti-anybody. So you want to invite me to a pro-love rally? I'll be there. You want to invite me to a pro-keep the planet clean rally? I'll be there. A pro-unity, pro-diversity, you know, by all means. That's where I feel sacred activism comes in. Sacred activism is not of the ego. And actually, that's a great point, Sarah. Sacred activism doesn't come from ego and from hatred. It comes from love and inspiration and to create change, not to fight against something. One of the issues I was, as many of you might remember, actually my Facebook page grew up because of my time with Occupy. I was very big in the Occupy movement. And one of the issues we had, and I agree with this, one of the critiques that many people had was that Occupy didn't offer anything. I was like, well, what are you against? What are you against? And I think what Occupy did was it changed the discussion. And it brought up lots of issues. Unfortunately, there was like no one main issue, and of course the media kept beating it down. It's like, you don't know what you want, you don't know what you want. I think there was a sense of, you know, the government is broken and it needs to be fixed. You know, unfortunately, you know, it dispersed. But I will say it did change the vernacular. It changed the discussion. We began to talk about the idea that you know, the top 1% hoarding all the all the resources of the planet, destroying the planet, and you know, the 99%, which I think was a great change in the paradigm as far as the global discussion is concerned. But what does this have to do with spirituality? And for me, I believe that spirituality, as you evolve, as, yes, of course, we want to have cosmic connection. My meditation makes me feel one with everything. But if I am one with everything, aren't I going to hurt when a piece of me is broken or hurting or diseased or being murdered through genocide or being picked on for the color of their skin or what they do in the bedroom, who they sleep with? That hurts me. If I am one with everything, if our goal is oneness, wouldn't it make sense that if a piece of our body is hurting, we're going to do what we can to bring relief, to heal it, to heal that aspect of our oneness. So as I evolve, and I'm still evolving, don't get me wrong, a great example for me is the Trump campaign, or just even this election cycle last time. the Bernie issues and the Hillary issues and the Trump issues. It put a really bad taste in my mouth. I really don't even want to hear about it anymore. I don't. I'm done. I don't want to hear about Trump. I don't want to hear about Hillary. I don't want to hear about Bernie. If you can't play nice, I don't want to be in that game. I don't. Now, does that take away the fact that I still believe in equality? Of course not. I'm still going to fight for equality. I'm still going to fight for, not fight, how shall I say, I'm still going to endorse and support protecting our planet, protecting each other, those that have been, pushed aside, the fringes of society, whether it be black women or trans men or whatever it is, people that need to be supported, I'm going to support. But am I going to do it in the way of bashing Trump or bashing the Republicans? Of course not. Many of my good friends are Republicans. I'm not going to hate them because they're Republican. That's silly. What kind of spiritual evolvement is that? And the same can be said for those on the conservative side of things. How can you call yourself spiritual if you hate liberals? If I see one more libtard comment or conservative pig comment, it's like I don't even bother reading some comments sometimes because I know where the discussion's going to go. That's not something I want to be a part of. Let's talk about energy when it comes to sacred activism. I didn't know this was going to go into a whole sacred activism talk, guys. I'm sorry. Now you got me rolling. That one question got me going. Let's talk about energy. So on the alt-right stance, there's the idea, well, I'm not even the alt-right. Let's say the people that believe, the right-wing truther, metaphysical people, I guess, that believe that the reptilians are sucking our energy. The conspiracy, right-wing conspiracy people believe the reptilians are the elites, or they're controlling the elites, and they're sucking our human energy. Just as far as out as that sounds, I went through a phase where I believed it for a moment, and I know many people out there still believe it, that there are these dark beings sucking our energy and mining our energy. As a matter of fact, I had a talk with, God, how can I forget his name? The wonderful John Trudell. Do you remember John Trudell, the Native American activist? He was on my show many years back, and he was talking about energy mining. So look at it like this. I don't care if you're left or you're right. He was talking about energy mining and how the hatred that we have for one another feeds these elites, whatever you want to call them the Illuminati, the reptilians, the global elite, the United Nations, billionaires, mega corporations. That division, that hatred, you hating conservatives or you hating liberals, it's hate, it's energy, it's energy, it's energy. Think about it, it's energy. And you're releasing that energy out into our world. Who wins? Do you win? Does that make your life any better to hate the liberals or to hate the conservatives or to hate politicians or to hate Trump or to hate Hillary? Is that helping? But what does it do to you? It releases, what is that nasty hormone? There's a hormone. It's not oxytocin. I think it's the opposite. I forgot which one it is. But it releases this horrible hormone, and it messes you up, and it creates cellular damage, and releases these like poisonous, hormones and whatnot into your body because you're hating Trump, or you're hating Hillary, or you're hating the liberals, or you're hating the conservatives. No spiritual evolution happening there, guys. You can't separate spiritual awakening, the spiritual path, with geopolitical issues. You can't. It's our planet. Now, on a certain level of consciousness, it is fair to say that as an awakened being, I am aware that this is all an illusion. I understand that. I understand that this 3D matrix is an illusion. There's nothing realer than that. To me, that's more real. This is an illusion. But this illusion is what my physical body reacts to. This illusion is what my emotional body reacts to. This illusion is what I'm experiencing. And if this is what I'm experiencing, I want it to be the best it can be for me and for everybody around me. So there cannot be a separation. And if there are any activists out there that say you can't be spiritual, or if there's any spiritual teachers out there that say you can't be political, run. What as above, so below. As within, so without.